Hello, my name's Tom Berry, and this is my story. So I was raised around the Detroit, Michigan area when I was a child up till I was about 12. And it was great until I was about 10 years old. My parents separated, and my world was turned upside down. My mother met a new man. They got married. It was good there for a little bit, and then we found out he was abusive, very abusive. He liked to drink and get violent when he drank. And me, at that age, I was 10 at the time. It blew my mind. I never experienced anything like that, and it was crazy. So that went on for a good while. When I was 12, they decided to move to South Carolina, and we did, and that was culture shock in itself. Me being from up north and coming down to the south is crazy. The abuse kept on happening. I met friends here, met friends there in South Carolina, and then they invited me to church, Stowe Memorial Baptist Church in Pineville, North Carolina, and that's where I met Jesus. The youth group there went to a Billy Graham crusade, and that's where things changed for me. That's where I was saved. It was the greatest feeling in the world. I didn't know where this was coming from. I just know I never felt it, and I was happy. It made me cry. Believe I was only 15, and nobody was sitting there telling me how to feel. It just came out of nowhere. I was told by my youth pastor at the time that you just found Christ, and it was the best feeling in the world. I was part of that church for a couple of years, and then we moved away. And when we moved away, the abuse got worse, and my stepfather ended up abusing my mother so much he spent 3 years in prison. And that's where it got even stranger in my life, where I had to spend a couple years in a boys' home because I had nowhere else to go. Because during that time, my mother and me just didn't see eye to eye. I was just a kid, and all this was happening. While I was in the boys' home, my mother and I reconciled, moved back with her, and that's when I started really getting into heavy music and playing drums. I started a heavy metal band. We got really good, and we played all over the United States, and that's where I met my wife, Nikki. Hit it off great, and got married, and we had a little girl, and that wasn't planned. I wouldn't change it for the world, though. But that's when I was like, wait a minute, something's got to change. And I ended up quitting the band and raising my family. Then we had another little girl. That wasn't planned, but wouldn't change it for anything. And that's when Nikki and I were really determined to raise a nice family and raise our kids right. And we still didn't have God in our lives. I'd say about 4 years ago, Jim Lackey gave me a call. We didn't know each other. My dad and his mother are really close, and he heard I played drums, so he called me up and asked me if I wanted to play in a worship band. And I was really apprehensive because coming from a really heavy type of music background, I didn't think I would fit in. I didn't know what people would think of me, the way I play drums. I didn't know anything about worship music. So I gave it a try, and I loved it. I learned a lot. And then getting to know the people I play with was another factor that kept me going back and wanting to pursue it and stay with it. I saw these people around me talk about how, God's changed them and just hearing their stories. And I was thinking back of that time when I was 15 at the Billy Graham crusade where I was saved, and it was such a great feeling then, and I lost that for so many years. Even when my children were born, we didn't have God in their lives like we should have. But right now, I'm a work in progress because of the church, because of Jim Lackey making that phone call and asking me to play worship music. I'm so grateful he did. So playing worship music and learning this music, remember I've never played this before, and each song was a new song for me because I've never heard it before. And one of the songs that stood out to me is Kingdom Come. The song is just the way it starts, and it gets bigger and bigger. And me being a musician, a drummer, I'm not a musician, I'm a drummer, I didn't really pay attention to the lyrics. I just listened to the music and how it moved me. But then read the lyrics, and then it was like, oh my gosh, this is how I feel. This is me wanting to let everybody else know how great God is, how great Jesus is. He died on a cross for us, and that's what that song is about, to let people know. And there were so many years from when I was 15 up to a few years ago, I was a good-hearted person, and I meant well in my actions, but I didn't have God in my life. And that song is saying, you know, the Spirit is washing over me. I want every one of you to know what I'm feeling. And that's what I get from that song.